Yo, I told y'all I needed to be obedient, and so that's what I did. I'm also live on Facebook. I haven't done this in a long time, but I start doing it when I have my stream yards. Um, it's just kind of like if you catch it, you catch it. You don't, you don't. But obviously, the videos and everything will always be on YouTube and you know all podcasts and streaming services. So this week is a good one. As you know, I looked at the timeline and we only have, what is it, like 6 weeks left as far as episode wise. Um, yeah, it's crazy. Season 6 is almost over. Season 7, it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna see if bar for bar is picked back up for another season or not. You know, if so, it's gonna go harder the next season, but if not, it is what it is. But today's episode is about our favorite topic, adulting. Now, with quarter life crisis, the goal of that was to discuss some of the trials, not the trial tribulation, but things that we discuss. And this episode, in a sense, is kind of like a cousin episode to that. I could say maybe a brother or sister episode to that, because the thing is, we discuss a lot of some stuff that's similar, but it's also more so highlighting or speaking on the trials and tribulations of being an adult day to day, and then discussing some skills that I found doing research. So I think that's the main part of it. But there's a lot of stuff that comes up that didn't come up during QLC. So let's get into this week's meme. All right. So the meme for this week is: being an adult is the hardest, easiest, best, worst, bored, and most lit time of our lives. All right. So, yeah. And when I say adult, I'm obviously talking about some of my people, the young adults, not like 60-year-olds, because it's like, not y'all. Inspiration this week, not too much. Obviously, the term adulting, which is an interesting term, and people have used it and coined it, kind of like many things. And then QLC, Quarter Life Crisis, for those that don't know, the second studio album of PSA, the Mental Health Podcast. And be prepared. I don't think it's over just yet. But I know you're probably thinking how so. You just have to kind of wait and see. So let's get into today's story time. I told y'all the week before last I was going to be by myself 2 weeks in a row. So although this isn't 2 weeks technically in a row, it's still by myself. So this week's story time is called Adulting 101. My back hurts and so does my knees. I got to get up early for work and I'm still tired no matter how much sleep I get. What am I? An adult. I like to kick it, but I still be tired. I may have a family. I may be single. Hell, I may be divorced. I love brunch and I love traveling with friends, my spouse, or even solo. Sometimes I really be proud of myself, and other times I feel like a failure. It just depends on the day. Sometimes I wish I was a kid again. Other times I feel like my life is lit as it is. Every day I contemplate quitting my job, but then I realize I don't want to be an entrepreneur full time. Other days I think maybe I should be an entrepreneur full time. Don't come with benefits, but all the money I'm making, I got it. No matter how you feel or what you think, being an adult is custom made and for all, especially the young millennial adults. All right, so this is the first time writing a story in a minute. Usually I just be winging them, but I had to get back to writing because they was getting a little too winged. All right, so the lessons from the story is there's no right way to be an adult. Like I said at the end, it's custom made. Everybody's journey, all that is just totally different. It's just how it is. And then I said that there'll be times to laugh and times to grieve. And if we go through that whole little short story, it was kind of poemish a little bit. We were able to see like there's times to laugh and there's times to grieve. Like it's not always a good time, but it's not always a bad time either, unless you let it be. Now, if you let it be, that's your business. That's on you at that point. Okay, so now let's get into a few little topics before we get into QTNA. So first of all, adulting is not falling out with everybody. I don't know what it is with you people where y'all are okay and feeling like you have to stop talking to everybody. Now, I do believe, especially in this season, I don't think that you can't be around everybody. Really, that's been the theme for my seasons for the last few seasons. But you can't be around everybody. And you don't need to be around everybody. And I think that a lot of the times we think cutting everybody off is the way to go. So don't get it twisted. Some people need to be cut off, and you got the signs they need to be cut off, but you was ignoring them. But let's stop bragging like, oh, I'm cutting everybody off and I did something. Because at this point, you just doing something. Look, adulting tips don't come from Justinlaboy. Mr. What sign is this? I don't even know if he said it no more. I'm not gonna sit and say I don't act like I don't follow the page because I do, but it's just funny because it's just like, bro, you can't listen to everything he tell you to do because a lot of that stuff is toxic anyway. But I think it's funny with his page because like he got such a control. Like I said this last season, he could say something stupid like cooks with crock pot. What sign is this? Like the one post he made, and I can relate to that, and we're gonna get to it a little later too. But like when he made the post and was like, imagine having a job where you still could do where you could do what you want and still want to quit. That's me. That's me. I'll be over it every day. I'll be over it every day. And I'm gonna get into why I was really over it the other week as we go along. But yeah, I'll be over it. I'll be over it for sure. Adulting is that alarm clock. I'll be blown away every morning when that alarm clock go off. Every morning. It was a meme or it was a POV on TikTok that I posted with Young Miami when she was like, I'm speechless. That'd be me. Every time I see that alarm clock go off, and I'd be like, I am speechless. Why is it going off? Like it seems like you just do like this. And it's like as soon as you lay down, it's time to get up. Every time. And I can't relate to the people who enjoy their job and love their job. Like I said, my job is cool. I don't love it. You know, it's kind of like that relationship you be in. You be like, I got love for you, but I ain't in love with you. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like how I used to do on Flavor Love. Y'all, okay. So real quick, I've been rewatching Flavor Love. Don't ask why. And every time I rewatch it, I always miss something or catch something I missed the first times I watched it. Those shows are hilarious. And it's funny how now they came out now and was like, oh, it was all fake. I mean, we knew that kind of, but basically they didn't came out saying like he was just like on there, like, yeah, I'm just looking for friends. And you know, it worked. But that show blew up a lot of people's life, and some people still own from that show all them years ago. So it's just about which like an adult, knowing how to manage your time, knowing how to, you know, deal with your time. Also, I have a friend, he's obsessed with saying it's time to get buck wild. Y'all might know him, y'all know him, but he be like, yeah, it's time to get buck wild. And that's what we were saying at homecoming. He wasn't at homecoming though, but that's what he be saying. So I don't know. It's just interesting to see how everything goes along. But adulting is an interesting place. Adulting is like it's like drugs. It's like hard drugs that you wish you could stop, but you can't because it be feeling good and it's great. And there's moments where it's like it's up and then it's down. It just depends, really. It really just depends. All right, so now I only have one definition this week, and it is adulting. For those that don't know, for you know anybody who like never heard the term, but you probably heard the term. But definition says the practice of behaving in a way characteristic or of a responsible adult, especially the accomplishment of mundane but necessary tasks. And for those that don't know what mundane mean, that mean boring, dry, decrepit, desolate. That's what that means. All right. Let's move on to QTNA, which is questions that need addressing. All right. First question. Why is it that adulting is so hard? I think a lot of times we make it harder than it is. I'm not going to lie. A lot of it has to do with like mental stuff I dealt with in the past, but I had more fun as an adult than I did a kid. I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't have fun as a kid. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, you know, it wasn't a good time at times, but I definitely enjoyed my adult life. I don't know what it was, and that's gonna be part of the question challenge for the week. But I'm 28 now. When I was 24, I had a ball the whole year, like the whole 24th being 24 year. I had a ball, a grand time. I can remember a lot of the stuff. There's a lot of stuff I can't remember, but I had a grand time. It was, you know, the meme where it'd be like, we had a time last night, the whole year. I had a time that year from really a little bit before my birthday in June of 2018 all the way through 2019. And not gonna say it didn't go past, a little past that too, but man, I had a time. I don't know what it was about January. It was this is the time frame, y'all. There was just like epicness, like boom, 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 boom. It was like for sure, vividly, I can remember I could say April, Mayish of 2018 through like April for a solid, even though birthday is June, it was a solid year of just like April to April, just cracking. It was just a vibe. And here's the thing, I didn't even have no money like that then. But it was a vibe. I wasn't broke either. I was hustling, but it was definitely a vibe for sure. It really was. Second question: as an adult, have you ever felt hopeless? Absolutely. I think a lot of times that comes this generation. We look at social media and we listen to some people around us, and they ask us questions and we kind of feel away like, why ain't we got this together? Why aren't we doing this? So absolutely. The third question, why is there so much pressure on young adults? There's so much pressure on young adults, I think, because the older adults, they have they want us to do better than them. And again, social media has a lot to do with it too. I think it just makes it to where it's like, it just makes it very difficult and it makes it very hard. But the thing is, I think that we have more going on than they did. A lot of us do, which is how it's supposed to be. The newer generation is supposed to do better than the last, but I think we got a lot more going on. So the last question, what would you rate adulting on a scale from 1 to 10 and why? Okay, so these questions that came up, these like some doggone questionnaires for a job or like some ACT questions or something stupid. But if I had to rate adulting on a scale of 1 to 10, about an 8. Yeah, I'm not no 0 or nothing stupid like that. You know, some people are like, oh, I'm this terrible, it's terrible. I mean, it had its bad times, but for me, it's like what Shakespeare say: the best of times and the worst of times simultaneously. Like it's horrible and great at the same time. Like you wish you could just stay in the bed all day, but you wish you could go to Jerusalem tomorrow. I don't know why I said Jerusalem. I don't know why that was the first place that came to my mind. I don't know. I usually would have said something stupid like Italy or something, but I said Jerusalem, and I don't know why. But I mean, we can't take it back. It's on camera now. All right, now let's move into the other segment, and that is, what does this have to do with mental health? All right, so you're probably thinking, how does adulting affect your mental health? In a lot of ways, really. You go crazy if you don't take care of yourself. Probably already crazy. All right, so according to Adulting 101, mental health needs for young adults, it says while some young adults may experience the unfortunately classic feelings of self-doubt and hesitation, others may feel their mental health slip. Depression, anxiety, imposter syndrome, lack of acceptance, or substance abuse are just a few examples of serious issues that may make young people or young adults feel completely isolated or hopeless. Depression, anxiety definitely have suffered from. And lack of acceptance, I think that I've accepted for me personally that I wasn't made to be at a table. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I wasn't made to be at a table. I was made to create my own table in my own lane. And I remember I was at this podcast thing from weeks ago. It's about months ago now, and we were all discussing our different podcasts and like what our goals was. And I remember it was kind of like an awkward silence in the room. This one girl was like, and I had said, for young mental health conscious millennials who suffer with making healthy decisions, suffer from decision fatigue. And she kind of paused and she said, I mean, you have to pay your rent. Like it was kind of like a hesitation thing, but the old me probably would have felt a way about it. But and it's gonna sound shady, but it is the truth. People who aren't innovators or who aren't innovative, they don't understand innovation. They don't understand people who have innovative minds. They don't understand creating something that ain't never been seen or heard before. So when you're creating something that's never been seen or heard before, one is gonna be met with resistance, but two, people are gonna like not understand it and think, well, that's not gonna work. How many times has something not worked and it been like the biggest thing? You know what I mean? And then so that was that. But imposter syndrome, I did episode of this last season. I may redo it in a different way, but I said it then I said, now, not an expert, not a psychologist, not a mental health practitioner, any kind. Imposter syndrome is a real thing, but I'm telling y'all now, a lot of y'all only suffer from imposter syndrome because it's self-imposed. You put it on yourself because you sit up and critique, criticize, bash, and go at everybody else's stuff. And now when it's time for your stuff to be on the spotlight, you scared of what people gonna say. I've said it before and I'm gonna keep saying it. Listen, I said this on Quarter Life Crisis. You're not gonna have everything together, but people may make it try to seem like you are or like you should. Now, what I will say is, and I got this idea from a TV show. Whenever an artist wants to release new music, but they don't want to release a whole new project, they make a deluxe version. So you know how every season we end off each season with a series. I'm thinking that to end off Quarter Life Crisis, we're gonna do not Quarter Life, well, technically, but end off this season, we're gonna do like Quarter Life Crisis Deluxe with a few extra tracks, some tracks that didn't make the cut, and that's how we're gonna end it off. So we have 6 weeks left, this including this one. So 5 after this one. Ain't gonna be no more skips. So it'll just be straight through. And yeah. Let me know what y'all think about that. How would you feel about a QLC Deluxe? I think that'll be good. I think that'll be interesting. Never been done. You know, I do new stuff. So yeah. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all now. No, I'm not gonna tell y'all. I'm not gonna tell you now. All right. So then, from the same source, it said, It is important to not only acknowledge your mental health, but also to recognize where it can be preventing you from being the best you can be. Until you do this, you won't be able to get the help that you need and may feel consistently stuck. Learning how to productively handle your mental health is a critical life skill. Your mental health is needed, and the earlier you can start to work on it, the better. I mean, that's coming from the source. I mean, I can just piggyback off that. The most you and that includes going to a therapist. Getting a journal, reading books. Obviously, I'm always say praying, seeking God in every decision you make. Finding out who you are, your real identity, not the one you created and not the one somebody gave you, or not falling in line with things people said about you, because if it's not what God said about you, then it's false. So keep that in mind. Also, it says, I'm a big advocate for taking days off. Everybody know that. I'm a big advocate for, talking to your friends, about certain things, going to eat, taking time in the house away from people, but don't make an idol of being alone or being in isolation. I'm big on that too, because I think a lot of times social media, again, it highlights like, oh yeah, I don't need nobody. I think people's kind of starting to get past that. Like, I don't need all that. I'm cool by myself. And it's just like, nah. It's cool to be by yourself sometimes. And there's going to be seasons you got to be by yourself, but not always. It says that young adults are supposed to do well in school or work, find what they're passionate about so they can monetize their passion and support themselves and their loved ones. It says maintain financial balance in a career that they absolutely love despite the increasing cost of housing and education. It says treat yourself, but also don't buy avocado toast so you can save for a house and never retire. So again, this quote matches my story. It's like, do this, but then don't do that, but then do that, but then don't do this. It's like all over the place. It says find loved ones, invest your time and energy into building friendships and relationships with people who you push you to be your best self. I'm definitely an advocate for that, because you need to be around good people and you need to be a good person. That you got to add that. And it says cultivate a healthy lifestyle, including eating right, sleeping enough, and working out. Additionally, understand your thoughts and feelings and how they impact everything around you. I think I'm an advocate for Cindy Trim's book, The Soul Fast. It's not for what you're eating, it's what's eating you. I'm actually reading that with a few friends right now. My goal is, I've been doing it every year since 2016, except 2020. I didn't do it, so I did it 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, and now I'm doing it 22. And each year I read it and do the Soul Fast. I find out something new about me, learn something new, kind of do like an update in life of where I'm at right now. I wish I've kept the books from years past to kind of see like the transition, but it's definitely needed. It's definitely effective. And I think people should get into it if they haven't. But ultimately, if I just had to sum all this up, I agree with most of this stuff. I think it's funny when it says treat yourself, but don't buy avocado toast, because that's actually more in depth than people realize. Because what it's saying is, it's highlighting budgeting, and it's highlighting like, okay, you can treat yourself to dinner, but don't overdo it. But then it's some people that's like, it depends unless it's payday. But then it's like with me, I want to have the lifestyle where every day is payday. In some cases, that has been the case for me. But like, if I'm going out eating, like, let's do it. I ain't gotta. Oh, I'm not gonna get the avocado on my avocado toast is good, and that is a young millennial meal too, a young adult millennial meal. But and a brunch, one of the brunch favorites. Not mine, but I do eat it. But the point that I'm making is, if you want to get that, get it. Don't go out to eat with me, because I'm gonna tell you, ball out. Don't go out to eat with me. I'm going to tell you to ball out. Everybody has their adulting like flaw. And some people may say, well, that's a flaw that you can't be like that. But then I say, and some people may say, well, why even go out to eat if you're not gonna ball out? Oh, I'm just gonna go out to eat. I'm gonna just get a little snack. Well, you could eat snack at home. You could eat, you know what I'm saying? You eat you some, oh, I'm just gonna eat the little piece of this. You eat that at home. I do know some people had this debate some years ago. And I'm gonna ask y'all, do you think that you should eat healthy when you go out to eat? Some people feel like, oh, I'm going to eat, I'm finna go crazy. But I feel like it's days for that. But it's like, if you have a lifestyle of eating a certain way, I think it's effective to keep that up. Because it's stuff, but see, that's why they tell you to find a diet that works for you, whether it's keto, whether it's paleo, whether it's vegan, whether it's vegetarian, whether it's low carb, whether it's just watching what you eat, being conscious, but find something that you can eat every day for the most part, so then that way you don't have them days where you just go crazy. Although I have my days when I go crazy, but it works for me. But some people like go crazy. When I say go crazy, not go crazy for a day, they go crazy and they go back into that lifestyle. Now, I mean, it's like I can do dibble and dabble. I can go crazy and then get right back off. Everybody can't do that. That's a skill. That's a skill you need for adulting. Knowing when to say yes and when to say no. Knowing when to say enough. I posted on my story one day, and I be doing that like sometime Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's next week. I'm gonna be, I posted on my Instagram story, and it was like, and I said I'm gonna eat today until my stomach yells enough, and I'm gonna eat some more. That's gluttony. I need to work on that, but man, food just be so good. All right, now, y'all. So after my little quick rant, and that ain't gonna be the last one for this episode. Trust me, I didn't add spots in the template for ranting. So let's move on to the other segment, one of my other good ones, which is, we all know it, the weekly sabbatical. So, adulting requires priorities. College was pre-adulting. If you recall, prior to season 6, I had a segment called Tips and Areas for the college students. And we got rid of that because obviously my youngest target audience is 25. So if they're in college, it's because they either started late or they in grad school. And at that point, if you started late, you got some discipline. But college was pre-adulting, and some people flunked out. I did a great job. I had my days, but obviously I graduated. I only graduated a semester late, which typically normal for college is 5 years, and I was 4.5, so I really wasn't even that bad. And the only reason I was 4.5 was because starting my junior year, I started doing, so I did 18 semester, no, 15 semesters freshman and sophomore year. Junior year, I did a summer. I had to stay out here for the summer, so I did some summer stuff. And then my advisor, shout out to Dr. Zeiler if he sees this, he was just like, well, moving forward with your degree in English, which, with the pandemic and the way the world is now, although those jobs for like English majors and journalism and those majors were, those jobs were always existed because of the pandemic and just the way the world is now. Them jobs is needed more than ever. So I did get the right degree, despite what my haters said. But I was about to say, I think that college taught you about getting up on time, eating in the caf, you know, it wasn't full adulting, but pre-adulting, knowing how to budget your time. Some of us had jobs in college. I didn't have a job in college to my last official whole school year because my last semester was only obviously a semester and it was in the fall. But that last school year I had a job, and before then I was just living life. I was just living life. But it definitely prepared you for the real world. And some of us moved off campus, during while we was in college. I know people moved off campus as early as their sophomore year. And I know one girl, she never lived on campus ever. So, that's something to keep in mind too. Priorities. So, wedding. As I'm reflecting, I was supposed to go to my homeboy's wedding, one of my closest friends. And anybody who knows him knows he's very like low key and like to the point. And he's very like, he's not over the top and above. Like he's not like a super extra person. So his wedding is going real small. But I was supposed to be. He wanted all his like close male friends to dress the same. And basically, my job told me I was over some days, and that I couldn't afford all them days off my check. And then I didn't get my suit tailored in time. The shoes I had ordered, they didn't come on time. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I really couldn't go. But he was cool with it and it worked out. But that's priorities. Now, again, if it was some big illustrious, the royal wedding, I probably would have looked real bad. But in this case, it was like you look bad, but not as bad. And they was understanding. So I'm gonna send them a gift, and it's that's all you can really do. Now let's talk about a big priority for the Houston area. So the Astros won the World Series. Now let me tell you how God don't like ugly, and this is a full circle moment. This is really hella funny. So God don't like ugly. We all know that. And basically, what happened was the Astros won. This happened in 2017, and like majority of the schools canceled the next day so that everybody could go to the parade and celebrate. So when the Astros won on a Saturday, a lot of schools had called out. And y'all know I'm working in education for now. Season 7, I might be free. We're gonna see. But so that Monday, that Monday when the Astros won, that Saturday won, and then Monday, a lot of schools was closed. So my school didn't close. My little small charter school, the Lean on Me school. They ain't closed because the superintendent was like, who went above my principal and said, yeah, we're not in a position to take off. We expect everybody to be at work on time. Okay. Came to school with no kids there. The next day was election day. We're going to talk about that in a minute too. And we wasn't off. A lot of teachers came to work late because they was voting. But let me tell you about that third day. Something about that third day. So Wednesday came. And so the front desk lady had came to me and she was like, hey, just so you know, we leaving at 1 today. I said, leaving at 1? We leaving at 1 today. And she said it's something with the fire alarm, the fire system. We gotta leave at 1. And then they sent an email saying, hey, y'all, we off Wednesday and we might possibly be off Thursday. Then they got this email back saying, oh, hey, y'all, we off officially Thursday. We're gonna come back on Friday. Now, while this is being recorded, I'm gonna tell you now, I don't know the outcome for Friday, but I'm believing we're gonna be off Friday too, because the man that's supposed to fix the system can't come to 8 o'clock on Friday. School, well, they said Thursday, but they like it's iffy. If we come at 8 o'clock on Friday, school started 7:30. Meaning they can't have school because how they gonna tell the kids to get here and just wait outside the extra 30 minutes because legally the kids can't go into school till it's fixed. So we ain't going to Monday. I'm claiming it. And see, God don't like ugly because we should have been off. Now, superintendent got to scratch up $20K to pay that off because it costs $20K to pay it. So you basically in school illegally because you don't have a fire system, alarm system that work. Now you're probably thinking you're going in on this school. You don't know the school, so it don't matter. And probably by the time any of them ever hear this, the school will be closed. But God don't like ugly, and you should let us be off. Now look at you. Now you over here scratching up $20K. Now, adulting is also when you lose motivation out of nowhere. I got to finish some assignments today for some people and some things. My writing I'm a writer first, and a lot of things have been taken off with that. So I can't wait for y'all to see that. It's pretty good, but I got to get the motivation. Sometimes motivation comes from energy drinks. I know they're not healthy. Don't get on here, health gurus telling me my kidneys gonna shrink or my liver gonna jump out my body or my tongue gonna shrivel up or my nipples gonna get bigger. I don't know. Y'all be saying some wild stuff, but just okay. Now I told you we was gonna discuss some skills that I found, and it's actually from a UK site. But the article is titled Nine Essential Ways. All right. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't have all nine though, but it says nine essential ways to learn as a young adult. All right. So it says first is how to be healthy. You should always consider your mental health as this can have a direct effect on your physical health and vice versa. It then says if you are worried or anxious, you may not get enough sleep or you may not eat properly. And this can cause you to feel physically weaker or unwell. If you are not sleeping or eating well, this could cause your brain to not function properly and your mental health could be hindered. Consider these things when you're thinking about your health. Highlights include sleep, food, exercise, mindfulness, stress, and drugs and alcohol. So shout out to my homegirl Bree Chains, Brianna, where she made a post and was like, I love y'all. She said, but y'all need to go in them cabinets and throw them honey buns away. Like I said on the, how to combat that grown man and woman weight. It's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. Second one is how to budget. It says budgeting is a way to make sure that your income can cover what you spend on your money on. You should work out how much you make every month, work out how much you need to spend every month, rent, utilities, debt, allow some money for your goals and savings. Anything left over can be used for what things you want to spend money on. When dealing with money, there are a few things to consider. Keep on top of your bills, prioritize what you need to buy, save money every month. Shop around for bank accounts and find the best deal. If you are a student and some student accounts come with perks such as a student rail card, and don't worry, rail card, they ain't got that here. I don't think there's some UK stuff. So if you want to get you if you went to like a New York or LA and get one of them like little things or that, I don't know what a rail card is. It sounds like some on Pokemon. So I don't know what that is. But it says don't worry if you break your budget. Now that's a one I want to highlight because it does happen. But for me, I know when I get paid, I've literally set up and calculated everything I have to pay for. And so I take that money out, literally stash it. And then that way I just kind of like live off the rest. So I know what I'm working with. And then, the third one is the one that I've actually had the revelation on recently. And it says how to vote. It says you should vote because you have your say, but also because many movements campaign for everyone's right to vote. Voting means you can get politicians to work for young people and solve problems for local people. I saw this I shout out to Jonathan Baker on, I think Apostle JB on Instagram. He talked about the importance of voting and talked about how like Daniel 2 talks about removing kings and raising up kings and stated that we do not merely stand and do nothing for the sake of separation of like church and state and stuff. And I think that's good because my views on the whole voting thing at first was kind of like, I mean, whoever gonna win. And I've kind of grown to just realize that it does matter. And that, not even because they fought for our rights to vote, but just because it really does matter. And you could be putting somebody in, the kings, we've seen it in books, TV shows, movies, the Bible. It's in so many different places where the wrong person is in charge. And sometimes they are allowed to be there. But if you have the right to do it, go and do it, because sometimes they'll be putting rules that'll really bring about what's the word I'm looking for? Punishment, and bring about like a agony and pain and agony to the people. You're like, oh, why do we vote for this person? Look what they making us do. And you think people be nice until you see what they're really about. They be telling you what y'all they about, but y'all get caught up in the wrong stuff. But this ain't the politics podcast, and I may give my time on that one another time. But yeah, the fourth one says how to first aid. I mean, if you fall out in the middle of the floor, I don't know what to tell you. I'm technically not CPR certified. No, I lie. I am CPR certified because I had to get certified for the beginning of the school year. So I am. So if you fall out, I got you. The fifth one says how to internet. It says think about what you post. If your social media profile is not private, anyone can read it. It said this can include your future employers. So think about your posts before you post them. It says do not post anything you want to get rid of later. Once something's on the internet, it is there forever. And then it says other people are not perfect. People only post the best versions of themselves online. So do not use their post as a way to measure your life. And then it says be nice and treat other people the way you want to be treated. React by being nice and being yourself. Here's the thing with that. What you post is on there forever. And I hate being a person that posts and delete. Like if I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna stand 10 toes behind it. So at this point in my life, I'm not gonna post it if I even think I'm gonna delete it. And sometimes I feel convicted and I take it down. But for the most part, I'm like, if I even think I'm gonna feel convicted, I'm not even gonna post it. But I would suggest y'all now change y'all passwords. Everybody change your passwords to every website you got. Just heads up, just change. All right, just do that. You can say, "Oh, you crazy." You gonna see why, but just change it. Okay. The sixth one, it says how to cook. It's easier said than done for a lot of people. Not me, but for some people, it's pretty easy to do. When I say easy said and done, for some people, I mean people who can't cook. But even if you just learn how to make basic stuff, them air fryers go crazy. Yeah, they go crazy. And the seventh one says how to get a job. It says list your achievements and not your duties. It says say why you are great, avoid typos, poor spelling, and grammatical errors, and tailor your cover letter to the job. Tailor your resume to the job. All that to the job, so that way And I don't lie. You ain't gotta lie, but highlight what you did and do it in a way that's just like cool. All right, y'all. So in and off with just saying adulting is just gonna be what it is. And I'm a person where I just like to accept stuff and just say it is what it is what it ain't. Adulting is just gonna be just that. And you can't get no younger. You're only gonna get older. So this 25 to 34, I'm 28, I'm in the middle. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Because you ain't gonna get it back. And you know how many people parents be looking like, man, I wish I was that age again. So enjoy it. But you can't get it back. And some people, unfortunately, are passing away early. Some earlier than 25, but enjoy it. You just never know. You're going to be here today, bald tomorrow. Here today, fat tomorrow. Here today, 20 kids tomorrow. Not saying your life stopped because you got kids, but there's some adjustments that got to be made. Here today. Nah, I ain't going to say that one. Hell, even enjoy your job, because what if you get called to start your entrepreneur journey? Yeah, it's always what you want to do, but it's not no breaks. I mean, it is, but it ain't. You know what I mean? But I think the slack is cut because you actually like what you're doing versus what you was cool with doing or liked and love. You know what I mean? So that's just something to keep in mind. I think that's pretty much it with the whole adulting thing for the day. How to be an adult, the best adult. I think. I'm funny. So let's move into this week's question or challenge. So between ages 25 to 34, what age of your adult life have been the best? What age has been the worst? And why? Yeah, I think that's pretty simple for the day. We did pretty good. We ain't go too long, which I kind of like. I love when we don't go too far. But it was a good one. So next week is gonna have a guest. I'm gonna be honest. At this point, I don't know how many more episodes are gonna be just me this season. I think the rest of them may feature guests, and interviews, I should say. But got some interesting people lined up, and I can't wait for y'all to see it. So as we end off season 6, be prepared for the bank. Also, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's same as on everything _ Izzy Bake Oven. My shorts go crazy. Those short videos, YouTube rocking with your boy. So shout out to YouTube. Right? They rocking with me, and I like it. So that's pretty much it. I don't have nothing else to say. See y'all next week for sure. And it's gonna be consistent the rest of the way. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are and make your mind up. Don't let it.